Here we take a look at the new Vibraplex end-fed half-wave antennas. There's 3 models in the range, 80 through to 10 metres including the warp bands, and that's 40 metres long, 40 through to 10 metres, which covers the 4 bands 40, 20, 15 and 10, and that's 20 metres long, and the new exciting model is the shortened version, which covers 80, 40, 20, 15 and 10 metres, but is only around about 22 metres long. Here we look at the 40 through to 10 metre version. Welcome to the Waters and Stanton video channel once again, and this time I'm going to talk about an antenna which I think may well be a serious option to the G5RV. Now, not in terms of price because it is more expensive, but in terms of convenience and in terms of performance. The Vibraplex end-fed half-wave is a very serious antenna design, and we've just taken them into stock. They're made by Vibraplex in the USA, headed up by Scott, who I've known for many years, and they spend an awful lot of time in developing this antenna. Now, I have done videos on this channel before on end-fed half-waves, but this is I think the first sort of serious commercial one that I've had a chance to review in depth. And the G5RV, of course, has been around for many years, and I'm sure it'll go on for many, many more years because it's such a simple antenna to make. It's very cost effective. But you know, the end-fed half-wave has had a bit of a rough ride over the years, but in the last 2 or 3 years, I think people have suddenly realised the end-fed half-wave has got an awful lot to offer. I mean, it first appeared many, many years ago as the end-fed ZEP when it was used with the Zeppelin airships. But things have changed now, and we've got all sorts of ways of matching antennas which didn't exist then. And with ferrite matching transformers, the whole sort of landscape of end-fed wires has changed. This particular one, as I say, is made in the USA. It's rated at 1 kilowatt, and well, I've been very impressed with end-fed half-wave, so I thought let's give this one a whirl and just see how well it works. So I think the first thing to do is to take a look at the antenna and what's in the box, as they say. So let's have a look. The Vibraplex 40 to 10 metre end-fed half-wave comprises the matching unit there, the wire element, the end insulator, and this, which I'll talk about in a minute, is a corrective loading coil. The matching box itself is approximately 13 centimetres by 9 centimetres, and it's weatherproof, so it should be okay for outside. On the right hand side there, we've got the element which is attached with this wing nuts there, and that loops up to this strain connector there, which clamps the cable such that there's no strain on the wing nut there. All the strain is taken by this attachment here, and that goes through this ring here, which can also be used as a support. Then on the other end we've got the SO239 connector, and we've got another wing nut there, which is actually the earth connection. On the right hand side, on the left hand side here, we've got a vent. If I put it on the scales here, it shows just under 0.5 kilo, so it's quite a hunky unit. And of course, because it's rated at 1 kilowatt, you'd expect it to have a little bit of weight. Now, one question I'm bound to be asked is about an earth. Do you need an earth? I've never used an earth myself. I've always fed it with around about 30 or 40 foot of coax, and that acts as a sort of a counterpoise, if you like. I can't see much point in using an earth unless it's at ground level, because once you raise something above ground level, that earth lead starts to become resonant on the HF bands anyway. So I wouldn't bother with an earth unless you're going to mount the box near ground level, and then by all means use an earth. Now this little coil here is actually a corrective loading coil. What it tends to do is to actually pull the frequency of the higher bands down a bit, because if you're multiplying up from 40 meters, the resonant frequency of the higher bands tends to increase. So this is a corrective coil, and it just lowers the higher bands a bit to make them more in line with the lower frequency bands. If I turn it over, you can see that we've got some holes and cutouts there, so you can mount this unit flat on a wall, which is quite a convenient way of mounting it if you're going to have this right at the house end, and then run the antenna down the garden. If you do mount this matching unit near the house, I suggest you use around about 20 foot of coax or so, and a line isolator, which I'll mention a bit later actually, something quite interesting about that. If you do need to change the length of the antenna to adjust resonance to suit your own particular location, then there's another strain insulator or strain retainer here, which you just need to loosen. You can then pull the cable through a bit and then tighten it up again. And what I would suggest you do is, rather than cut it, you simply simply undo this strain attachment here, pull the cable through and then twist it around rather than cut it. Twisting it around is always the same as cutting it, and it enables you of course to go back if you need to lengthen it again. I don't know what gauge the wire is, but it certainly feels strong, tough. At the same time, it's pliable. It's a plastic coated wire, but I've no doubt that this will easily withstand the normal rigours of certainly the UK weather. Well, there we are. That's what you get in the box, so let's see how it works. And I'm pleased to say that although we're in the middle of September, we've got one of the hottest days of the year. We're hitting 30 degrees centigrade today, so it's a great opportunity to get outside, put the antenna up in the air and see how it works. For the tests I used my spider mast, which I put up recently and mentioned in a recent video. It's around about 25 feet at the moment. It will go about another 10 feet. It will go to around about 35 feet or so. But you can see the antenna there running back towards the house. The spider beam, spider mast, is still in its temporary position, or at least its temporary erection situation, because if you've seen my previous video, I've got some angle iron here which I've banged into the ground, and I've just strapped the base of the spider mast to it. You can see there's another couple, 2 or 3 sections to go up yet. But I don't intend to put it up any higher until I've got a proper concrete base in. But yeah, very pleased with it. The antenna runs back to the house. It's just attached just under the soffit board of the house. I'll go in close and you can have a look. You can see it there. That's just underneath the soffit board of the house. And that's around about 18 foot. So it's 18 foot one end and about 25 foot the other end. Well, having hoisted the antenna up into position, it was time to do some tests, and you can see here on the screen the very distinctive resonances on 40, 20, 15 and 10. You can see that it was always at least 1.5 to 1 or better at resonance. I made these measurements without a line isolator, and if you look carefully at the display, you'll see that the 20 metre one has got a bit of a vague resonance and some spurious resonances either side. I suspected that this might be common mode currents on the coax. I quickly made a line isolator with about 10 turns of coax on a Type 43 mix ferrite core, and as you can see, it's basically cleared that problem up. So a lesson about common mode currents and the importance of a line isolator. But do make sure you put the line isolator near the transceiver and not near the transformer. Golf 3 Oscar, Japan Victoria. G3 Ocean, Japan Victoria.
Question, no problem. G3 Oscar, Japan Victoria. You're booming about 25 dBs at the present time, sir.
Okay, from Golf 3 Oscar, Juliet Victor. You're also 5 and 9 plus. Name is Peter, and I've got your details okay, so nice to speak to you this morning. From Golf 3 Oscar, Juliet Victor.
Thank you very much, Peter. Yeah, it's lovely sending you a lot of QSB, but still picking the 20 dBs on the site over here. Have a nice morning, Peter, and see you later on. Bye-bye.
Okay, 73.
73, then Kira from Delta Foxtrot.
Well, is it a serious contender for the G5RV? I think in terms of convenience, ease of use, reliability, get you on the air quick, it certainly is. The G5RV, as I said in the beginning of this video, is very cost effective. The problem with the G5RV is that it doesn't give you a decent match on all bands, and I think anybody that uses a G5RV will find that on some bands they need an antenna tuner. The advantage of the Vibraplex end-fed half-wave is that it doesn't need an ATU because it provides a very low VSWR, typically around about 1.4, 1.5, absolute maximum on the bands that it covers, which of course is 40, 20, 15 and 10. And if you take the larger one, the one that covers 80 metres through to 10 metres, that also manages to cover the walk bands as well. So it's a very serious antenna. And you know, the big advantage of the end-fed half-wave is that it's so easy to put up. It's not a fussy antenna. It doesn't really matter whether it's 15 foot above the ground, 20 foot above the ground, 50 foot above the ground. It works. I mean, obviously the radiation pattern changes slightly and the angle of radiation changes slightly. But the great thing about it is that it gets you on the air with the minimum amount of fuss. You haven't got any radials or any masts to guide, unless of course the end support is guide. But you can put it on. You can get on the air with a minimum amount of work. And as I said, I mean, mine's only about 20 foot up in the air at the moment. I have used it portable for various operations, mainly on 40 metres and on 20 metres. And even at 10 or 12 feet above the ground, it works. I am impressed with the construction of the end-fed half-wave from Vibraplex. It's a nice, meaty antenna. The matching box is superb. It just oozes quality, and I think that if you're looking for a wire antenna that gets you on a number of bands and you guarantee you're going to get a low SWR on those bands, then give it a serious amount of thought. The Vibraplex end-fed half-wave, Scott's done a great job on that antenna and you won't be disappointed. So that's my take on this antenna. Yeah, I give it thumbs up, great antenna. And for the moment, I'm going to keep it up because what else do I put up? I don't particularly want coax cable dangling halfway down the garden, and it does the job for me. So anyway, as usual, thanks for watching this video. If you've enjoyed it, please press the subscribe button. That means to say that you'll be kept informed when we have another video. And until then, take care, enjoy your ham radio, speak soon.